Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Skóra, also known as Islands in Front, and today we'll be talking about Mono Blue Fairies matchups for the upcoming Geddon. For this, I'll be using a part of my own tier list I talked about last time, so feel free to go to my channel and look at that in depth and see what my thoughts are. But I want to discuss specific matchups in the light or through the lens of fairies specifically, and also because the Geddon is coming, I have made a huge update to the full in-depth sideboard guide, which you will be able to see here. All the matchups, cards to counter, and and more. And also make sure to check out this, how to keep with Fae. Okay, so this is the part of the tier list, S, A, and B. So let's use some easy metrics. So let's use green for good, and I'll go with like double tick, which is actively I really want to play against this. Single tick, which is okay, I think it's positive. There will be use blue circle, which is like, yeah, close, and then the same for the negative, so minus or double minus. So let's go up, down. S tier, Giant Wildfire. I'll be speaking from my own perspective, from my own experience that I have played these matchups. And from that, I'll give it one tick. I think it is favorable. I have won most of my Giant Wildfire matches I have ever played, including locals, Geddons, trios, and all the other combinations of events. So I'm fine playing against this, which I'm happy with, considering that this is, to me, the most popular deck. However, there are matchups that are much better than this. Then, and that's because, you're a good tempo deck, and then they have to have Chrysalis, because people say, well, Chrysalis GG, but like, okay, what about the other 56 cards? And lack of Chrysalis, especially game 1, is just a death sentence. If they do have Chrysalis, then I cannot have Counterspell. But as you know, for Counterspell, for Chrysalis, that's the same, but we have a lot of card selection. They typically just keep doing nothing the entire game. So this is where I would put this particular matchup based on my experience. Now, Madness Burn, previously, I would have done this. Boom, boom, double minus, because I think I thought it was almost unwinnable. Now, I'm more like 1- / neutral. I have developed a strategy to play against Mono Red in a way that makes it very winnable. Now you can see one of the replays on my channel where I do this exact strategy, but also I go in depth on this in my sideboard guide against this particular matchup. But I think if played correctly, and then depending on skills on either side, it will go from neutral to negative, but like slight negative. Then we go to Mono Blue Terra, and then this is one of the reasons to play fairies, right? This is a borderline buy. Now, of course, if they pack like, say, 4 gut shots, it's going to be considerably worse. However, if they have a more generic sideboard with, with Hydroblast, with Annual effects and stuff, maybe 1-2 gut shot, it's still very good, and game 1 is trivial. Now, it does require you to keep certain hands and keep the same strategy, again, sideboard guide, but also I have like 5 videos on Mono Blue Terra alone, where I show this exact approach every single time, which is early creature, early ninja, and then play out the middle game kind of carefully. But I do think like I would play against Mono Blue Terra every single round if I could. Every single round. Then we have Mono Blue Fairies, which has to be even. But, I am happy to play the mirror. Let's just say I am happy to play the mirror match. And I think this is one of these matches where you have to have played a lot of them to get a feel for it. But once you do, you get much more comfortable, and then you play this considerably better. So let's say it's kind of neutral, but I'm happy to play the mirror, right? Now, in most of those, it's kind of a skill issue thing. But like, again, I'm not even saying this because it's going to apply every time. 6-land Spy, or Wall Spy, is, well, Womp Town, definitely. we don't want to play against Spy. I have made another video, so many videos, on my channel regarding the misconceptions about this matchup, and that's Spy against Mono Blue Fairies. It's on my channel, and there I say, just to TLDR, we don't lose to the combo, we lose to the everything else. The same way Fae is bad against walls, the same way this is bad against this, right? I have had people who literally play Spy and target me just because a 2-3 flyer is so strong alongside with everything else that they're doing. So this is a bad matchup, this is a no-no, the first like really, really bad matchup. Then, to round up tier A, actually this is a good matchup. Now you will say, well, Rakdos is good and then Madness is okay or bad? Well, yes, because the Rakdos is considerably slower. That's one. Two, we don't really care about burn damage going face. We care about burn going at creatures. And a lot of their burn goes face, the black ones, right? Like Drain 2, Drain 3, etc. So that makes a chunk of their interaction just meaningless. On top of that, they are not a Lava Dart deck like Madness is. So, slower, no Lava Dart, most of the spells go face. This is a very, very strong combination that makes it actively favorable. Just remember to use your Intruders well, because there's still an Imp and Snacker deck. So, pretty solid. And then we move on to tier B, which is less popular, but definitely you have to be on the lookout for. Affinity. Affinity is a positive matchup. Possibly even more positive than Jund, but I wouldn't go like double tick because it seems like I want to actively play against it. I don't want to actively play against Affinity or Jund, but it's fine. It's fine. Especially game 2, game 3, where you have Steel Sabotages, but I am perfectly comfortable playing against Grixis Affinity, and again, no Crystal is even better. And then they do play cards like the Rod Mage's, Black Mage's Rod, but I think it's also not that good, especially game 1 where we still have snaps and we can convert them relatively easily, so that's just 2 mana for a nothing. That matters. And especially game 1 also when we have a density of intruders, so we can very easily play through it. Elves. Well, Elves is another one that's just bad, right? And again, we'll see the same vibe. Is it basic forest? Yes, bad. No, okay. And Elves, another matchup that you cannot possibly win, even more so than Spy. Wall Spy, you could get around that because they do have a proper density of 2 and 3 drops, so you can actually have those draws where you like snap one and then have a couple of spell starters. You can actually get across the finish line. But again, for all intents and purposes, it's a really bad matchup. And Elves is also a very, very bad matchup, right? Again, double minus. I don't want to ever play against this. Bushburn. If you've been following me, you know that I thought Rally Red has been a bad matchup. Now, I've played much more since, and I'm happy to say it's probably between neutral to positive. I've played quite a bit of it, and I feel very comfortable with the matchup. So it's much better than I thought it was, but I'm happy to say that it is. BG Gardens, this might also be not a popular opinion, but I think it's a positive matchup. I know it's a wall of removal, but that doesn't beat Fae itself. Like, wall of removal isn't enough. And I have played against Gardens too many times, and I have won too many times to say it's bad matchup. And also, you might actually see me play against none other than Mr. Del Pivo, the European champion, who also played Gardens, and we played on coverage on Paupergeddon. And again, you can watch this. And yeah, this is a fine matchup. And in Blue-White Familiars, it really depends. It's at least neutral, but I think with a tinge of positive, because on the draw, they have a really hard time competing with us. They have just 2 basic planes, and so the likelihood of having them is pretty slim. So if they go, if their early 2 or turn 2 or turn 3 includes Azorius Chancery, it's so hard to catch back up. Now, of course, Resolved Mystic, Resolved Muldrifter is annoying, but they might just not get there in time. So this is where I would place the matchup as overall. Okay, so this is what I see. So I see the artifact decks as positive, Ragdoll's Burn and Gardens as positive, Madness Burn tricky, neutral or bad, tricky. Two green decks, bad. Familiars, fine. Mirror, skill issue type of thing, but I guess fine or close. And the Mono Blue Terra, yes, please. So this is what I see. This is how I see it. And if you want to ask me any questions, feel free to do it in the comments down below, be it on Reddit, hello Reddit, or on YouTube, here, hello YouTube. And if you want to get more thoughts on how to beat each of these decks specifically, visit my sideboard guide, which is fully updated now and is like a very big piece. And also, I'll see you at Geddon, because this is probably my last video before Geddon, so feel free to approach me, say hello, shake my hand. I'll sign anything you want. I signed Harrier Strixes, Spells at the Surprise, this is probably the most popular, Islands, or printed out sideboard guides, which is also something I've done. So yeah, feel free to interact with me. I'll be very, very happy to say hello or to do anything you'd like. And so, with all of that said, this is Fae before Paupergeddon. And yeah, as always, please remember to hold my hand and let us pass the turn together. And I will see you next time. Cheers.